In this video, we'll cover some difficult CELPIP questions that are quite complex because they are different every time. We'll talk about how you can prepare for them and what you need to do to have a good structure that you can use every time. The questions will be different, but you can use a structure, a solid structure, to give you a foundation of what you need to do every single time. So let's have a look at what these questions are. The first one, talk about one of your best friends. As you may know, this is a question which is not marked. It is an unscored question. You are not given marks for it, but it's highly recommended you speak here so you get a little warm up on your tongue, especially after doing listening, reading, and writing. It's important to get that warm up, and even the best public speakers, comedians, everybody does it. So use that strategy, just say whatever there, just to get a little warm up. Now with this next question, which is your officially first question, your mom loves to buy luxury items and it is getting her into high debt at this point. Advice. So this is the advice question part one. The structure here is pretty straightforward. You want to first do the greeting. Hey mom, how are you? How's it going? Then we do 3 points and 3 suggestions basically. And then we conclude with something like, let me know what you think, or I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and so on. Now we have covered all questions in detail. You can just type CELPIP Speaking HZad Education on YouTube. You'll find numerous videos. So I'm going to skip over the questions that are like these, which have a structure, which you know every time I can expect this. And those are a little bit easier. But I want to talk about something like question number 2, because this is one of those unpredictable questions. Talk about your most expensive purchase. So this is in this case about a purchase. In some cases, it's about talk about the worst customer you had to deal with. Talk about your favorite vacation, favorite food, worst food, worst vacation. You see, every time it's something completely different. So this is something we are never sure about. You can prepare for 100 topics, but you might get the 101. So you never know. However, there's a structure for it, a solid structure. But before we get into that, have a look at what's said right after. So it says you can talk about an object, a service you used, or an experience you had, such as a concert. Explain why you spent that much money and how did it make you feel afterward. Now, let me ask you something. If I did not show you all of this and I just showed you the first sentence, would you still have the same answer? 9 out of 10 times you would say yes. So you don't really need to read everything. This is the main question. And if you think about an expensive purchase, it could be my watch, for example. So that's an object, and I'm going to obviously explain how I felt about it. I'm going to explain the importance of it, and that's what I'm going to discuss in my structure with you right now, which is why you don't really need to read the rest of it. And this rest of it always changes, but the wordings that it uses are, how did it make you feel? What was important? Why were you so interested in it? What was so significant about it? So if you think about it, everything it's asking you is just explain more details and explain the importance or use emotions. And that's always going to be the case. So you don't have to always read all of this in detail. The first thing they mention is the most important sentence. So if I talk about my expensive purchase, first I got to decide what it is. I'm going to talk about my watch. Now, you just want to do 2 to 3 points, not more. So if I'm talking about my watch, I could talk about the brand and the value of the brand, why it's important, what's the name value there. Something about emotion. So maybe it was gifted to me by someone. I could make that up. Because now if I talk about emotion, I can talk about my feelings, why I was interested, why it's important. That part will always be covered. So I'm going to use that. And if I have time, I'm going to talk about a third feature. For example, the watch has different time zones displayed as well as my current time, which is why it's just very valuable for me because I'm a frequent traveler. And that's it. At the end, I'm going to do a concluding statement such as overall and wrap up the whole idea. So the structure I'm using here is, first I mention what that thing is. Then I have 3 points, 2 to 3 points. One of them has emotion, has the emotional importance. And the final sentence is your concluding sentence. Now you can use the structure for the watch, for your favorite food, for your favorite vacation, and any other type of question you get. So using that structure with any other scenario is very doable and very efficient. When we look at questions 3 and 4, we have a predictable structure. We know we're literally given a picture and we have to describe them. So it's easy. It's not hard to really think and be confused with that. Similarly, for part 5, you get 2 options. You pick one, you argue against it with the other person who you're talking to, and you have the points literally written down. So easy as well. But something like question number 6 is going to make things unpredictable. Let's have a look. Your boss wants to downsize the company in order to make more profits, but the employees are definitely not on board with the idea. Convince your boss to consider alternatives, or explain to your colleagues why downsizing is the need for the company at the moment. In this kind of question, when you are explaining a situation to someone, giving them advice or giving them some recommendations that they don't want to hear, then you have to include an element of an apology or an alternative. Okay, so when I'm going to talk to my boss, obviously he wants to downsize. I'm going to tell him not to downsize. I'm giving him something he does not want. So I'm going to give my reasoning, and then I'm going to apologize, or I'm going to say, well, if you downsize, the other benefit to you will be whatever. That's the alternative. With the colleagues, I could apologize. I could say, I'm extremely sorry. I don't stand with you with this matter. However, it is only better if we consider, etc. So here there's an apology, here there's an alternative, and usually you want to give this element in this part of your speaking. Most of the times, 90% of the times, that's the situation you'll be put in, where you're asking someone to do something they don't want to do. Very rarely, it could be something completely different. So it could be something like recommending someone to do something. So it would be 2 people and you want to recommend either person A to do something or person B to do something. In that case, apology or alternatives does not matter. So it depends. However, in 90% of the cases, you're going to be put in this difficult situation where you have to give alternatives or apologize because you're not giving someone what they want. So first of all, you want to address the person, appropriate greeting. If you're talking to your colleagues, you would say, hey guys, I understand that we're in a bit of a situation here. However, I wanted to talk about the benefits of downsizing and explain why that's important. Firstly, okay, so now you give one reason, followed by ideally another reason. You can keep just one reason, but I would like you to have at least 2 points here. So 2 points for the reasoning. The third point would be the alternative or the apology. In this case, I could do an apology, which would be something like how I'm sorry, or I feel really bad that we have to move in this direction. However, it is for their benefit. Or an alternative would be, hey, listen, we have accumulated a great deal of experience with this company using its name, which we could use in our resumes and apply for the jobs that are available right now even better than what we currently have. So that's your alternative, and either could work here. So you got your greeting, 2 points, reasoning, and the alternative or apology, followed by the conclusion. Let me know what you guys think. I hope to talk to you guys soon. Or let me know what you guys think. You can just send me an email, whatever the situation is. And that's that. So keep that structure. It's always going to help you. Remember, apology alternative is important for your emotional intelligence points. This one, customers should pay a fee whenever they return or exchange goods to do the extra work the staff has to do. What is your opinion on this? It's a debate question. You give your opinion. You give 3 reasons for your opinion. And at the end, you rephrase your opinion. That's something we have covered before on this channel. Pretty easy to do. We always know that's the structure. But when we go to question number 8, this is probably the most unpredictable question ever, because every time the picture will be different, the situation will be different. And that's why it's hard to plan this. However, let me tell you something. You'll be very glad to hear it. It'll just solve all the confusion in 2 seconds. Let's read the question first. In your art class, the professor picked you to define what the below picture shows. He wants you to explain what you see, what emotions you feel when you see it, and any other thoughts you get from this picture. So basically, you have to define the picture, right? Isn't this similar to parts 3 and 4, where you have to explain the picture? It is exactly that. This is just defining the picture. The only change you have to make is in the intro and conclusion, just include some part of the question. This is a professor picking you in the class. So how I would start is, thank you, Mr. Professor, or you can make up the name. Thank you, Mr. Alexander, for picking me. I would be more than happy to tell you what I can see in the picture. And then you simply talk about the picture, just like you do in part 3. In this picture, I can see this person. These are the features, colors, whatever feeling you're feeling. Talk about 3 to 4 points here. Once again, in the conclusion, address the situation. That's my overall opinion of the picture, Mr. Alexander. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, so here you again just talk about the situation mentioned in the question. You only have to worry about that in the intro and conclusion. In the body, you just define the picture. Don't even worry about the situation that much. And there you go. So using that structure plan will help you always be stable and in control of your part 8, as well as all other questions here. Now, if you want more mock tests like these, free evaluations, 15 hours of course videos, and guaranteed results, check out our CELPIP 15-hour course in the description. It comes with a money-back guarantee, and we ensure and assure you that you get a 10+ in your CELPIP exam. All the best.